What's going on, guys? We are back. We are going to do a one-game NHL Showdown slate for tonight. It locks in 6 hours, so get on this right away. Take a peek at what we're looking at. It should be a thrilling showdown for the late night hammer. It is a game that I have stacked my classic lineups with, and we should have a lot of goals. So let's get into it. We are talking about the Oilers and the Blackhawks. You will be able to get all my core plays in our our NHL Discord channel. If you are looking for that, I will put that link below. But otherwise, continue to check out our free content here on our FSI YouTube channel. Again, you can find all the links below. But let's get into this slate. I think we had 10 goals scored last game. Showdown slates for me mainly as a cash player. I like it when I feel comfortable with the goalie, like Stalock last night with a shutout win. I actually played both the goalies, which I felt still was optimal, just because the scoring, there wasn't really concentrated scoring, not really a lot of studs to pick from. Here we have plenty of studs to pick from. I think you just probably cross out the goalies in this kind of matchup unless you really feel something drastically different happens compared to last game. That ended, 6-4 in favor of the Blackhawks. And I don't really care who wins in this matchup because I think there's going to be a ton of goals both ways. I think, obviously, your first guy in, and he does not have to be in the captain role, is Connor McDavid. You can make a case that Draisaitl is the cheaper by 600, so play him instead. I'd probably say play both if you can. It might not be easy. Or if you're only playing McDavid, then maybe you pair him up with Nugent Hopkins instead, who those two ran together as line mates in the last game. So in my order of priority would be McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, then Oscar Klefbom at 8,000, who does everything. He's on the ice a ton. So he had 22 minutes on ice. He had 2 assists last game. He didn't have as many peripherals as we're normally used to seeing him. Usually higher shots on goal and a higher chance for that 3 block bonus. But, I mean, double digits is pretty safe for him as long as he gets on the end of 1 assist. Patrick Kane at 9,200, I love that price tag as well. And you saw what he did last game with 18.5 fantasy points. He had an assist, but 7 shots on goal. So I think the floor of Kane is higher than Nugent Hopkins. But you might lose some correlation because depending on who you're playing them with, and I will go over line rushes. So here, if we look at, and this is thanks to Daily Faceoff, one way I like to use Kane is with my favorite value of the slate on this slate in Nylander. I think he is 3,400. So that makes things a lot easier to work with because now you can still go back and say you want to use Draisaitl, you probably can't use, let me just try something. I don't think you can use Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins, but I could be wrong. Actually, you can. So you could use all of these guys and just punt with a minimum price player if you use Kane at captain. If you want somewhere cheaper, if you got really risky and use Nylander at captain, you can do that too. Or if you pivot down from Nugent Hopkins to Klefbom, I'm fine with that as well. Other Chicago players, Jonathan Taves, I tend to stay away from him. Yeah, he had a 3-point game last game. He had 2 goals, but he's way more goal dependent than I prefer. I just think his floor is too low for the guys that you're choosing to fade like Kane, Nugent Hopkins, or Draisaitl in order to pay up for someone like Taves. Darnell Nurse would normally be viable here on a slate that didn't have so many studs. Duncan Keith, I was hoping he'd be cheaper. He's pretty nicely priced on Classic, but he's really taken over with Seabrook out and just kind of taken over that number 1 role for them. Ethan Bear is another value play that I really like on Classic. I wish he was cheaper here. I think he's 3,500 on Classic. His ice time is just insane for kind of his role. He might not get you double digits, but he definitely has a decent floor. That's why I said I prefer him more on the Classic slate than I do on the Showdown slate. Athanasiou, Should be skating in the second line with Draisaitl. No, it must have changed unless, this I don't think is updated. This one says July 20th. This one has been updated. You might want to check left wing lock. That's where I use my other lineup builder. But I'm pretty sure Athanasiou skated in second line in that first game. And then Cassian did skate on the first line and put up nothing. So that is the risk with these values. Like if they don't get behind a McDavid goal and just get an assist or something, likely their floor is so low. So now at 5,000 being priced up, it is harder for me to get to. I would rather go to somebody like Kirby Dach, who is skating on the third line with DeBrincat, who I really like, but he is getting first power play exposure. So Kirby Dach is another great value play I like here. And he even got in the last game, I want to say 18, 19 minutes on ice. 19 minutes on ice. He had an assist. He had one block shot, but he definitely has some upside, especially being on that power play that presents, some nice potential value. The rest of the guys that are down here dirt cheap, if you land on a build similar to what I showed you before, that's where you really want to be active on Twitter and I like Left Wing Lock's app because it allows me to they timestamp when they update the line rushes when it comes out. There's got to be somebody that's at least living that's going to be on the ice for 2,000. So if you land on something similar to that, I think just try to find your favorite 2K play, maybe the highest in line rushes or the defender that's potentially going to get the most time on ice, or maybe has a little bit of power play time. Now, just as kind of like a NHL 101, the power play can be misleading in terms of looking at Chicago here, and you see their second unit. Now, this second unit's a little bit more balanced, but second unit, they might not all play that much. Like Boquist might not really get that much time on the power play. He might get like 20 seconds, where this other group stayed out there for a minute and a half. And then Patrick Kane likely stays out for majority of the time, similar with somebody like Jonathan Taves. And Edmonton is really the same scenario. You'll see these four here stay out almost the entire power play. And then you might see like James Neal come in for, they have Chase on listed on the first line. I don't think he was there last game. But Darnell Nurse might sub in for Clefbaum at the end. Let's check out Jason's price, just if he is 3,600, he's viable too. I'd have to go back and see if he actually made that line rush. He had 15 minutes of ice time. His floor is really low. But if he is skating on that first power play, he does have a little bit of value. At 3,600, maybe he's a little bit better of a play than Nylander. But Nylander does pair up nicely with Patrick Kane in even strength. So goalies are GPP in a slate like this. So one of our Discord members took down the morning slate with Carolina. You had Shnetsnikov and in the captain role, used Mrazek, only used one Rangers player. And that's kind of how you correlate to win GPPs in NHL. Play one goalie, stack the team, play for goals. Otherwise, in cash, I'd be in a scenario where I'd use both sides of the goalies to try to create a floor. And even what's amazing, Kevin Fiala last night with the Wild had a goal and had the 5 shots on goal bonus. And Stalock still outscored him by 10 points with the shutout win. So, and no 35-point save bonus either. All right, that is where we're going to be. Tune into just an up pace, no defense type of game, a lot of goals. And hopefully you are sweating out some showdown lineups as you do that. All right, good luck.